Welcome to my channel SK Vidyan Physics classes. We shall discuss some conceptual questions on semiconductors, and these questions are very important for different entrance examination point of view, such as engineering and medical entrance examination, and also these questions may come in common PG entrance examination for admission to MSc Physics classes. First question is, the band gap of silicon at 0 degree Kelvin is 0.7 electron volt, 1.12 electron volt, 1.21 electron volt. Last choice 0.3 electron volt. The question is, we cannot find out the value of band gap theoretical means at 0 degree Kelvin. Experimentally, we find out band gap for silicon by different methods, say 4-probe method, and extrapolate a curve and find out the value of band gap at 0 degree Kelvin. Earlier I have told that if you draw a graph between energy gap taken along y-axis and temperature taken along x-axis, the graph was like this, a straight line having negative slope, and we extrapolate this graph on both sides. This graph meets the y-axis at a point, and the value of energy gap corresponding to this point gives you the value of energy gap at 0 degree Kelvin, and the slope of the graph is determined, and the expression for energy gap at a temperature T as a function of temperature T is 1.21 minus 3.60 10 to the power minus 4 into temperature. Now, if you substitute the value of T equal to 0 here, we find out energy gap equal to 1.21 electron volt. So, 1.21 is the correct answer. Now, usually we say that energy gap for silicon to be 1.12 electron volt. That is at room temperature. Ordinarily, we say room temperature to be equal to 300 Kelvin. Next question is, the type of semiconductor N type or P type can be identified by using photovoltaic effect, Early effect, tunnel effect, Hall effect. The correct answer is Hall effect. What is photovoltaic effect? Briefly I am telling that if you take an interface of a metal or semiconductor or N type or P type semiconductor and exposed to light, then an EMF is developed which you call photovoltaic effect. That cannot determine the nature of type of the semiconductor. Early effect is about the phenomenon that when you allow the potential difference between the base and collector junction of a transistor to vary, the effective width changes according to James Early, and this is called Early effect. This cannot also detect the type of semiconductor or the current carrying charge carriers. Tunnel effect, as you know, classically it is not a classical phenomenon. Quantum mechanically, a particle can pass through a barrier even if it has energy less than the potential barrier. So it is called tunnel effect. This also cannot detect whether a semiconductor is N type or P type. But what is Hall effect? In Hall effect, the crystal is taken and a transverse magnetic field is applied to the crystal. Say the field, this is the direction, say x direction, y direction, z direction. Magnetic field is applied along x direction and a current is allowed to pass through along y direction, that is, and connection is made to a source of EMF like this, and these two surfaces, say 1 and 2, a potential difference is established between these two surfaces, because supposing the p-type carriers, p-type semiconductors we take, the majority carriers are holes, and the holes move along the direction of electric field, that is the current direction, and the direction of the force acting on the hole is along negative z direction. That is, the holes thrown to the surface 2, and thereby an electric field is established, or a potential difference is established between the two surfaces, which you call Hall voltage. By knowing the direction of electric field, we can say whether it is a p-type semiconductor or n-type. In case of p-type semiconductor, if it is the direction of the electric field is from surface 1 to surface 2, for n-type semiconductors, the direction of field will be from 2 to 1. So this is how we cannot go very thoroughly to the topic, that is Hall effect, but this can give you the idea whether the semiconductor is a n-type or p-type semiconductors. Now the next question is, the resistance of a germanium crystal increases with rise of temperature, decreases with rise of temperature, remains unchanged with rise of temperature, depends on initial temperature at which temperature is varied. It is a very clear question that germanium crystal, with rise in temperature, the resistance decreases or conductivity increases. Why? Because you raise the temperature, because of the thermal energy, more number of valency bonds break, forming whole electron pairs. As a result, increasing the carrier concentration and thereby increasing the conductivity, decreasing the resistance. Question number 4. If mu is the mobility of electron and mu p is the mobility of holes, then mu e equal to mu p, mu e greater than mu p, mu e less than mu p equal to 0. Actually, the mobility of electron is greater than mobility of holes. Electrons are highly mobile. That is, if you influence the electrons by a electric field, by the source of EMF, the drift velocity obtained by the electron is more. And you say mobility is the velocity, drift velocity attained by the charged particles per unit electric field intensity, and definitely the mobility of electron is greater. Now next question is, SI unit of mobility is meter ampere per Newton, meter ampere square per Kelvin, meter square joule per ampere, and Tesla. Now we know mobility is equal to drift velocity by intensity of electric field. In a SI system of units, speed or velocity is meter per second, intensity is Newton per coulomb, so it is meter per second, coulomb per Newton, and coulomb per second is ampere. This is meter ampere per Newton. So the correct answer is, choice is meter ampere per Newton. So meter ampere per Newton, meter ampere square per joule, meter square Joule, Ampere, Tesla. Out of all these four choices, the correct answer is choice A. Next question. This figure shows energy band diagram of a semiconductor. So what is the type of the semiconductor? Intrinsic semiconductor, P-type semiconductor, N-type semiconductor, or a conductor? The correct answer is this is a P-type semiconductor. Why? The figure here it is given IL, that is impurity level. Now, if an impurity level is formed near valence band, then it is P-type semiconductor. Now, when you add an impurity to intrinsic semiconductor, impurity levels are formed. For N-type semiconductors, you add pentavalent impurities, and impurity level is formed just near the conduction band, that is below the conduction band, here. But in case of P-type semiconductor, you add trivalent impurities, so impurity levels are formed just above the valence band, very near to it, so that with a small temperature change, rise in temperature, electrons in valence band can be transferred to impurity level, thereby forming a large number of holes in valence band. That is why in P-type semiconductors, holes are the majority carriers. And similarly in N-type semiconductors, electrons are majority carriers because an impurity level, that is called donor level, for N-type semiconductor is obtained just below the conduction band, so that the electrons from donor level can be transferred to conduction band, thereby resulting a large amount of electrons in the conduction band. That is why in N-type semiconductors, electrons are the majority carriers. Next question is, a doped semiconductor has impurity levels 30 milli electron volt below conduction band. That is a doped semiconductor. This is the conduction band and this is valence band. So a doped semiconductor has impurity levels 30 milli electron volt below conduction band here. So that indicates it is an N-type semiconductor, because the impurity level is below conduction band in a very small range. The temperature at which electrons are transferred to conduction band is first choice 300 Kelvin, 348 Kelvin, 0 degree Kelvin, 400 Kelvin. This is a very simple question. The formula, that is KT, thermal energy, K is Boltzmann constant, T is absolute temperature, should be equal to 30 milli electron volt. And we can calculate knowing the value of K. T equal to 30 milli electron volt per 8.6 to 10 to the power minus 5 electron volt. When this is calculated, this comes to around 348 Kelvin. So the correct answer is 348 Kelvin. Now, a very important conceptual question, that is, to produce whole electron pair in a given semiconductor, which is convenient method? That is, first choice is thermal energy, light energy of suitable frequency, third choice electric field, fourth choice sound energy. See, all are here the forms of energy, but which is convenient? We can prove mathematically, but in general, light energy of suitable frequency is very convenient. You can choose either silicon or germanium. You can work out mathematically and see that very large electric field is required, very large amount of temperature required, and of all these, light energy of suitable frequency is very suitable for producing whole electron pair in a semiconductor. Next question, there is no choice, it is a problem rather. The band gap in germanium at 300 Kelvin is 0.72 electron volt. Find the percentage increase in number of charge carriers in pure germanium if the temperature in Kelvin increases by 1% at 300 Kelvin. So what is the formula to be used? If Ni be the carrier concentration, it is a constant T to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus Eg by 2 kT. So how to calculate? You take the logarithmic of both sides, ln Ni, ln A, ln of T to the power 3 by 2 minus Eg by 2 kT. Now take the differential, that is del n by Ni. This is a constant, differential is 0, and this is 3 by 2 del T by T, and this is equal to Eg by 2 k T square del T, or 3 by 2 del T by T, or Eg by 2 k T del T by T, or 3 by 2 Eg by 2 k T into del T by T. Now you substitute the values of Eg, that is given 0.72 electron volt, K 2K, K is 8.62 10 to the power minus 5 electron volt per Kelvin into temperature is 300 Kelvin. Now if substituting all these values, this will perhaps turn to be around 15 into delta T by T. Here it is given the temperature increases by 1%. That means the delta T by T is 1%, means 1 by 100, that is 0.15. So percentage change in fractional change in charge carriers is equal to 0.15. So in terms of percentage, that is del Ni by Ni into 100, this is percentage, that is equal to 15%. So by changing the temperature of the semiconductor under this condition by 1%, the charge carriers change by 15%. By changing the temperature 1%, then the charge carriers, concentration carriers increases by 15%. Very important. Now next question, the ionization energy of pentavalent impurity atom is silicon is small, that is 0.05 electron volt as compared to 13.6 electron volt of hydrogen atom. This is because silicon is a semiconductor. Silicon has large dielectric constant K equal to 11. Silicon is tetravalent. Silicon has small energy gap. Here this question means to explain to the students that hydrogen in air has ionization energy 13.6 electron volt. That means if you supply 13.6 electron volt to hydrogen atom, the atom becomes ions. But why in case of silicon, which is added by pentavalent impurities and which has very small ionization, that is 0.05 electron volt, what is the reason? The reason is that it has a large dielectric constant. In a dielectric medium, the electric field is influenced, potential energy is influenced, decreases, kinetic energy also decreases, and total energy also decreases. So thereby the total energy is very small, that is 0.05 electron volt. In the next video, I will come with more conceptual questions on energy gap and Fermi energy. Thank you.